Hannah's child again with another little bird story. Compliments of the Red Heifer Logos. Stories taken from the 1800 BC and the 1688 BC scrolls from which the King James Bible was translated. There is no death, hell, devil, condemnation, judgment, nor any other such things about war as we think of them in those scrolls. And that's what the Red Heifer Logos is all about. Cleansing from touching that body of death. Hi, Hannah here with Little Bird with another story for you. Actually, this is not a story. We're going to look at a single word, and it's word tree. And the word we're going to look at is God. Did you get that? God. You might not be able to read this, but you can follow the arrows. And we treat this word as if it's a main word, and it's not. It's a created word. Father, mother, hand, eye are primary words, and they're not created out of anything. They just are. The word God is created. It's formed, and it starts in an unused root down here at the bottom. If you can see that, and that right down there, the first thing that happens is we have a twist away, which is strength or might, and that's fine. But we come back here and we see out of this unused root we get strength. And the neutral form is translated mighty man, lentil, oak, post, ram, and tree. And the female form, which is non-gender, it just simply means it's open, generative, doing something, is translated elm, oak, and teal tree. These are married up. Now, if we look at the specific scriptures where these are, we get a pretty good idea what's going on, especially if we let the letters and numbers and words assist us in that quest. So when we look at this unused root, and we have this translation of a mighty man, then the next thing that comes out of the mighty man is strength. And this is translated God. God's goodly, great, idle, might, mighty one, power, strong. And it says compare all the words to L. Well, we've got about 99 words that start with L. They all mean God. And then we go, out of this word comes another word, which is deity, that we translate into God. And out of this word deity comes the plural gods. And this is the word that is most often found in Scripture. 2,600 and some times, this is the word that is used for God. But we throw it around as if it means the almighty, ultimate God, not knowing what we're saying. Now, this word plural gods is also translated as angels, exceeding, gods, goddess, godly, very great, judges, and mighty. So I don't think we understand what the word God really means, as it was laid down in the original scrolls 3,000 years ago. Now if we go back down to the unused root again, we see another 5 more things coming out, these 5 arrows. And those 5 arrows are strength, ram, doe, oak field, and deer field, or oak grove and deer field. Well, now the deer field is neutral. It's translated Ajalon or Ajon, as if they were people, and it's not people. But the doe is a female word again. It's open punctured because it's moving, it's doing something, it's generating something, but it isn't female. And besides that, it is translated hind. So when we look at the word heart, we don't think of a ram, but that's what it means. When we look at the word Elon, the Hittite, we don't think of an oak grove, but that's what it is. And Elon, the oak grove, forms another word, but it takes two other components. It takes three parts to form this house of favor. Well, where was the house of favor? Well, we know where the house of favor was because the Hittites were in the same place with the Ammonites. In the dark, wet, black, fertile soil of a mastership that emerged in the power of 10, Genesis 10. This is where we find it first coming out and first being conspicuous. It was formed in chapter 1, but in chapter 10 is where it emerges. This is the Black Highland. This is where we get that nonsense about a black son uncovering a black father and calling humiliation. It doesn't exist because there were not any people. It was not an environment for people. But the Ammonites were there, and the Hittites were there, and a whole bunch of other itises were there. And that's another whole story for another day. The important point about this particular information is that we need to be sure what we're talking about when we say God. We take that word and we slap it on everything. Well, God said this was always plural gods. 99% of the time it's plural gods. Where were the first plural gods? The first plural gods were in the first united ox head, translated Genesis 1. And what were those plural gods? Those plural gods were heat, wind, and water. And they increased through 6 seasons of heat, increasing heat. And in the second chapter, which would be the united house, we find the plural gods are resting. And the plural gods have been resting ever since. Because there was a new plural god coming on the scene. And what was created in the waters of creation in Genesis 1 was the rapidly moving soil, translated sea monster. That was the beginning of the master ship. So I join with Little Bird and we say, understand what you're saying when you say God. Be sure of what word you're invoking. Are you calling on messengers? Are you calling on judges? Are you calling on a tree? Are you calling on a ram? Are you calling on strength? What are you calling on? Because whatever we call for is what comes. Our elders always come when we call for them. So this is Hannah's Child checking you out for today. Goodbye.